Welcome to a cosmic energetic update with multidimensional energy specialist RaquelSpencer.
Hello, I want to welcome everyone. It is amazing times in which we're in, and all you need to do is look at the world, look at what's happening, look at what's going on. And we sit here as metaphysical beings of light, as awakening beings of light, as human beings of light on the planet at this time in history. And sometimes we step back and we wonder, what the heck is going on? How are we really making an impact in the bigger picture of humanity? What is it that we're trying to accomplish as we watch the outer world in chaos, as we watch the outer world still struggling to shift and change? And I know often I sit back and I wonder, how are we going to do this? What is the game plan? How are we going to move forward on this journey of awakening and really have the impact that so many of us know deep in our souls that we are? But on a personality level, sometimes it's hard to see. Sometimes it's difficult to really understand that the energetic work, the personal work, the work within the matrix and on the different grids around the planet, including even our own personal grids, how that impacts the bigger picture. And as we sit here going into the second half of 2016, we're in a 9-year, that's a completion year. Every 9 years is a cycle of completion. I mean, we have cycles within cycles, within cycles, within cycles all the time. But as we come through this 9-year, we are working to once again dig deep into the emotion, into the patterns, into the belief systems and energetics that really keep us disconnected from that source energy and bring distortion into our everyday experience. As we're in a 9-year, we're in a year of completion, and we just moved into Chiron in retrograde. And this happens every year. This is not something that is, once in every 10 years or once in every 25 years type of thing. But it is a retrograde with the planet of Chiron, which represents the wounded healer. And it allows us to go very, very deep into our own personal wounds. And we are a representative or a representation, the micro of the macro. We as individuals hold it all. We are an individualized expression of spirit. We're an individualized expression of humanity. And we hold within us all potentialities. We hold within us all of the energetics that can play into the awakening, into the expansion, and into the evolution of humanity. And so as we go through and work on our own personal matrix, because quite frankly, that is the most powerful place in which we can focus, is on ourselves. How many times have we heard, you can't change other people, you can only change yourself. You can't change the outer world, you can only change your perception of it. You can't change anything besides what you have personal domain over, and that is yourself. And so as we move into this Chiron retrograde energy in this 9-year of completion, many of you may be experiencing some really deep emotional patterns showing back up again. I know personally I have a pattern that keeps reoccurring over and over and over again in my life that has been going on for several years. And it's really about clearing out and standing in your truth. about how you want to live your life, how you want to stand in your energy and your truth, instead of buying into planetary, humanitarian, family, friendship, society rules. And so many of you may be experiencing opportunities to once again practice, once again solidify your energy in standing in your truth, and not just going into the energetics of what society has deemed appropriate, what your family or friends or nationality or religious, and I know, we're all spiritual on this path here, but we all come from a family lineage that is quite often, not always, but quite often tied into major religions on the planet as well. And so we have those patterns ingrained. They're part of our DNA. They're part of our structure. And we're being asked once again to stand in our truth, to break the patterns, to recognize when the patterns come up, and really step into our knowing that we are sovereign beings, that we are in physical form at this time to make the choices, to walk our talk, to change our behavioral patterns and the energetic patterns that dictate those expressions, those physical play out, if you will, in the real world, and how we respond to those systems, those behaviors, those patterns and ways of being that are so ingrained in society's expectations, that are so distorted. And to be able to stand in our truth and be self-caring enough to say, no, enough. I am not going to play that game anymore. I'm not going to stand and go through those energetic patterns again. I'm going to break them. I'm going to stand in my truth and stand in my power and take care of myself in a way that allows the energetics to shift. It's very important that we understand the difference, again, between being selfish and being self-loving. For all of those souls on the planet, those of you on the call right now, being spiritual, being on the path, I can guarantee 99.99999% of you are not selfish. We're just, because of who we are, because of our spiritual nature, because of our seeking of the truth and what we came on the planet to do, we don't tend to be the type of people who are truly selfish in nature. We tend to be selfless. We tend to give and give and give and give and give, even when it's at the detriment of our own energy. So those of us on the call versus, many in the world right now who are selfish, who are self-gaining, who are only out for themselves. That doesn't tend to be the group that I'm speaking to at this moment that is part of this energetic call. We are truly selfless beings. We've come here, we've incarnated, we've said we'll do it again, we'll go through the motions, we'll come in at this time of turmoil and really push the envelope. And so when I talk about being selfish or being self-loving, I'm not talking about being overly self-indulged. I'm talking about standing in your truth and not letting other people's emotions or agenda dictate what you do. And there's a big difference. Being self-loving is about standing in your truth and knowing when you need to draw the line of old patterns and old habits with friends and family that nurture your growth and your centeredness and your being and your spirituality, rather than going into the patterns which allow other people to distort your fields or feed off your energy. And so as we move into this energy, we're in it right now. Chiron went retrograde last week, and we just came through the 7-7 portal, which really brought in a huge energetic to help us really clear, again, deep, wounded patterns that tend to be very much related around family patterns, religious patterns, the Catholic energy, the Christian energy of, give at the detriment of your own personal well-being, sometimes even. So those kinds of patterns that are wanting to be broken, that are the energetic of the 7-7 portal that came through, really helping you to stand in your own power to say enough. I'm no longer going to buy into and act out in these patterns that the family, the religious energies, the societal energies have dictated for quite a long time as appropriate or the way you should be. We know those patterns are detrimental to our own well-being. And I'm not saying to not be caring. Our level of compassion is extraordinary as a group of spiritual light beings. Extraordinary, the compassion we have for others. Sometimes well beyond the compassion we reserve for ourselves. So just know that this is the energy that is coming in right now, and you may be given beautiful opportunities to recognize when you're diving back into those patterns of acquiescing to family demands or demands of partners or friends that are old patterns that no longer serve. And that the energy that came in with the 7-7 portal is very, very supportive in allowing you to break those patterns and step into a new level of sovereignty, a new level of being in your own power and in a space of complete compassion, both for yourself and for others, to step out and be the observer and know that as you stand in your truth and love yourself as much as you love others in your experience, that the energetic balance and the energetic patterns are breaking and reconfiguring. And as we do this on an individual, again, the patterns become bigger and go into the mass consciousness and can impact the outer world in a very significant way. We forget, and we can't see the impact that we have because it seems so minute in this huge experience that we're in. But I was reassured once again as I laid there on the 7-7, bringing in this information. I was laying there asking again. It's like it seems so insignificant, the shifts and the changes that I make. And I was reassured that on the bigger scale, from where we cannot see, the impact has far-reaching effect. And to stay in that knowing that each of us, as we individually grow, as we build the new patterns, as we stand in our sovereignty and our truth, that it does impact and that the cumulative energy will continue to grow to make long-lasting shifts for not only ourselves, but for all of our brothers and sisters on the planet, all of the beings of light, all of humanity and the souls that are here working to evolve. So know this is the energy right now, and Chiron is actually in retrograde for 4 months. So this is a relatively long retrograde, and it will continue to give us ample opportunity to step into our truth, to hold the truth of our self-love and self-compassion while still being compassionate and loving to others, but to not allow those old patterns to distort our fields and our expression and our perception and our experience in this reality.